Well, hey, I wanted to talk today about who are you sitting at your table with? Do they bring you up or bring you down? I know that a huge thing for women is gossiping, and that can get into the topic of jealousy, right? So let's just pivot those two topics today super quick with some super easy ways that you might want to work on either gossiping or comparing. Have you ever thought about why women gossip? I know as we are young and growing up, it's a common thing for girls to get together and maybe talk about other girls that, weren't in your clique in high school, maybe even in college. But let me tell you, after college, we should be nipping this thing kind of in the butt, okay? The reason that some ladies feel the need to gossip when they get together with a group of girlfriends is often a projection actually of insecurity. So they've got some insecurities going on, okay? And this takes time to really work on these insecurities, and you can kind of see it in certain personalities that it almost feels safe to start gossiping, when you are around the table with your girlfriends, whether they are, a group in the community or your best friends, and that can kind of vary also. And there's a difference between, sharing some information about someone and truly just wasting your time and talking about someone and being like, oh my gosh, did you see, she just started her own business and she's not going to do well with this, and I can't believe she wastes her time doing this, and blah, 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 blah. That energy is going to bring you down. And you, as a woman who needs other women in your life, do not need to be around that on a daily basis. Every minute, you are either being poured into or drained, okay? And so if you are at a 20-minute conversation and all it is gossip, that is draining your energy, okay? And you need that energy as a lady, as a mom, as a wife to try and stay positive. I'm not saying that you have to sit there and say that everybody is perfect and everything's amazing, but listen, the more that you can do these simple things when you're looking at other girls, and I'm going to tell you right now what they are, it can really save your energy and bring you up instead of drain you. Okay, the first one is if you have somebody that maybe you are a little bit jealous of, okay? And every single girl has somebody that maybe they look up to them, but at the same time they are a little bit jealous of something. I want you to look at that girl and call out her strengths. I want you to recognize what you see in her and what she does that maybe you do not do yet or you do not do well. Maybe she is more outgoing than you. Maybe she is more consistent in areas in her life than you are. Once you kind of start identifying the strengths that these people, they might not even be women, it could be really anybody, then you can start maybe journaling and writing down, what do they do well that maybe I don't do so well? And you can start actually working on those areas. And so you kind of shift that jealousy and or comparison to something more positive in a way that, hey, those are some areas in my life that I really want to try to work on. So when you're sitting at the table with some people, your girlfriends, or maybe some new friends, I want you to start recognizing how does your energy feel during the conversations and after you leave the table. How do you feel? Do you feel drained or do you feel lifted? And the people that when you leave the table, that your energy feels lifted, those are the people that you want to spend your time with. I know as a busy working mom, having my own business that loves to be with her family, I personally am not going to spend an hour or two in relationships that I feel drained afterwards. If I'm not leaving the table just laughing and feeling inspired, then that's somewhere where I'm not going to be sitting next time, okay? So I want you to start identifying how you're feeling when you are around certain energy, okay? Now, if you are somebody who finds yourself comparing yourself to other girls, whether you are in your 20s or, moving on in to your 40s and 50s and all the hormones and all the moods and ups and downs and all the things that women can tend to do, which is all very normal, I want you to, instead of comparing yourself to somebody, I want you to start learning. This is a skill that, you either can, if you're not doing it yet, you can learn it. Start calling out strengths is what I call it. So this can be, sometimes an 18-year-old girl has the cutest dress on ever, and I just can't wait to tell her, hey, I love your dress. That is so cute. Or, oh my gosh, your hair, I love how you curl it. Tell me about what curling iron do you use? Instead of me looking at her and be like, oh my gosh, look at her. She's so much skinnier than me, and she's got that young skin and thick hair. And instead of comparing myself to an 18-year-old girl who I know that I am no longer going to be that body shape, that is just something that we have to tell ourselves as we are aging gracefully. We are never going to be in that exact body shape again with that exact skin. Yes, you can do all the things in the world to your skin and work out and all these things, but I think it's more important to just go ahead and age gracefully and look at, these younger girls and start calling out their strengths, telling them, oh my gosh, you are such a good communicator. I love your dress and all the things. If there's one thing that I love to do around May and June is to look on social media at all the girls' prom dresses and, just be inspired by them. And so let's stop comparing ourselves. Instead, call out strengths. And so another thing that I love to do is maybe there's somebody that you are a little bit jealous of. I want you to look at her strengths. It's usually a girl. And think about, what is she really good at? What does she do well? And I want you to tell her. Instead of gossiping, instead of comparing, I want you to call out her strengths, and I want you to tell her. I want you to tell her. This becomes a habit, and like I said, a skill, and it is going to lift you up instead of bring you down. If you are working towards a huge goal in life, any goal, and you are not working on these skills, you are going to stay right where you are. If you're spending that 20 minutes that you should be doing your 20-minute increments on comparing or gossiping, instead of doing the activities, you're not going to move forward and get closer to your goal. I don't care if your goal is to have less flabby arms, which is my summer goal. And what does that take? That takes 20 minutes every day of lifting my weights. That is so easy. The weights sit in my room every day, and I stare at them, and I can either start lifting them or walk past them, right? I can spend that 20 minutes looking on social media at younger girls with way better arms than me and start getting jealous and start pouting that I'm getting older and that I just can't do this and I'm blah, 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 blah. Or I can pick up the weights, get the 20 minutes done, and move on with my day and get closer to my goal, okay? You have the ability to move your energy towards something that moves you up or down, and it starts at the table. It starts with who you are sitting at your table with every single day. And until you change that, you will remain right where you are without moving forward and closer to that big, huge goal. Thanks so much for connecting, and I can't wait to connect again.